With New Hue Media, and I'm with our lovely Miss Dr. Primrose Cameron.
Hey, greetings everyone.
And we are here today just to talk about how this phenomenal woman has been a trailblazer in the community and talk about how she does it all, being a mother, being a professional, being all these great things. So let's start today with introducing how do you do it? How do you put all of these magnificent programs together? And just tell us just a little bit about who you are, where it all began, where you get this drive from.
So that is like a mouthful, but I'm so excited. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And so as she's mentioned, I am PrimroseCameron.com, and I get super excited just about the opportunity to share what I am doing. And I will tell you that the drive comes through and through from the Cameron family, of course, right? So props to my father and my mother, just for all that they've done for me to kind of instill that work ethic in me, but also just granting me the opportunity to bless some other folks. And so I get driven by what kids are doing, what families are doing, what our community is doing, and that's what really excites me.
Okay, and then like for me, as a mother, I just want to know how, when you first started, like way back when,
Right.
how did you go from this person with a young baby trying to make it in college to now being a doctor? Like, how did that journey get you to where you are now? Like, how did you do that?
So I tell people all the time, 3 degrees ago, I wasn't always right. Just meaning that, gosh, I was just in the midst of everything, right? I was working countless jobs, 3 jobs at a time in college. I had this baby, as you mentioned, and was here and there and everywhere. And I kept thinking, and I tell my now 24-year-old son, if it had not been for him, there would be no me. Right? There's something special, one with that umbilical cord, right, that really drives you to another level. And so for me, shout out to Devin Cameron, he really just graced me with his presence, right, 24 years ago. And I kept thinking, what am I going to do next? What is going to set a platform for him so that he can be better than I've ever been? And that's really what helped me create my balance. And I started thinking, okay, what am I good at? So I'm not a great chef, right? I can't fix cars. There's so many things I cannot do.
Right.
Talking is never an issue. And going to school, I could have been a student like for the rest of my life. That definitely wasn't an issue as well. And so as I progressed in the area of education and have been a part of that for 22 years, I just kind of moved forward and I kept pushing, and I always wanted to learn more.
Right. So tell us a little bit about your first start, which is Cameron Enterprise. What does that all entail? What is that program about? What's that business about? And why did you start it?
Yeah, so Cameron Enterprise is exactly that, right? It's so much bigger than I am. So I started just because I wanted to do more motivational speaking. I wanted to help empower women more, right? I have a background in education, but also in counseling. And so I wanted to do more with the lives of women and their children. And so I started with that. Like, that was the base, you know. In my runway days, not that I could walk a runway, but I took a really mean picture. So when I started modeling, gosh, that has probably just been maybe 4 or 5 years now.
Right.
I was out there on the runway and I was meeting with models and things. That was one of the things I had to jump over. Like, that was on my to-do list, my bucket list. And I wanted to learn more. And what I realized, when you're on that runway, like, you are front and center. And when you do a takeover, you really do a takeover. So I kept thinking, what is it that I could help people take over in their lives, right? If they're broken, how do we heal?
Right.
If things are damaged, what do we do to fix them? And so I used that experience to build Cameron Enterprises, which led us to today, right? Starting with the motivational speaking and all that I was doing, but it just didn't have a name.
Right.
Yeah.
And then from there, it seems like you blossomed and branched out to even more programs.
Yeah.
So then from there, after you went from Cameron Enterprise, then didn't you build up the Sisters Network? So can you tell us a little about now, how did that start developing after you did the Cameron Enterprise?
Yeah, so it really started evolving, right? Because then, I mean, one, when you put your name on anything, like you have to stand by your name, right?
Yeah.
And so that means a lot in the community. And so what I say I'm going to do, I do, right? What I set out for others to do, I help them improve in their lives. And so the only child in me actually said, well, it can't just be you, Primrose. like, okay, what are you gonna do with some other folks, right? And so I kind of just took the approach of, well, what would I do if I had a sister?
Right.
Like, what does it truly mean? And you know, we're in sororities and we're in other organizations where women come together, but what would it mean to actually build and mean it? Right? Like, if I say to you, you're my sister, and I want to help you, do I mean it? Right? Or am I like Hollywood talk or something? So I chose Sisters Build Network. I was sitting around with Kamika Kane and Mitzi Kane. We kind of evolved with the Out of the Box fashion show. We did a few things together. They're hairstylists and business owners. And so, you know, I'm sitting around with them and I'm like, gosh, they have siblings, right? I don't have siblings, so I make it up in my head of what it would look like. And so I said, I'm going to create a platform that looks like what I would want it to be if I had siblings. Right? And that's women truly coming together to inspire one another. So it's actually called Sisters Build Network, and we push. And the PUSH stands for Pursuing Underlying Strengths and Happiness. So at the end of every meeting, I ask them, how can I help push you?
And then how do we want, if we want to be pushed, how do we get pushed?
Yeah. So you definitely check out, so what's in the name, right? PrimroseCameron.com, and you see where we're going and what I'm doing, things of that nature. And then if you're in Volusia County or in your other counties, because we've been moving to other locations as well, and we'd love to start chapters in other locations, you just connect with me and we kind of go from there. So, yeah.
And then don't you do with the PUSH program, the whole Happiness Unfolds?
Yeah.
Is there an upcoming date for that coming up in the horizon in the new year?
So I kind of just start everything with the Sisters Build Network lens, right? So I look through everything through that lens, and that's what allowed, and we didn't have it at the time, it kind of went the other way. I love taking pictures, and I love when women come together. I love when things work, because when they work, they really work, right? And I said, well, what would that look like if we had women come together? How would happiness unfold? Because I'm a pretty happy person, right? And so I wanted to know, how would happiness unfold, and what would it look like if I didn't know you, but I came to the same location, we did a calendar shoot for I don't know what reason, but besides being happy, what would that look like? And so we ran that actually for 2 years, the How Happiness Unfolds calendar shoot, where women with like minds came together, didn't know each other, and now have lasting friendships, right? And partnerships. So yeah, it's just been a beautiful thing.
Yes, and I have been a part of that. It's been quite fun. It has been quite an experience. And then from there, you didn't stop there.
Keep going.
You keep going, which is great.
Yeah,
but then you branched off to now helping our younger sisters to build. Now, what developed that to want to help mentor our young teen youth to be better citizens in society? The future for tomorrow.
What's beautiful about this part of my life is I'm doing everything I've always wanted to do. But as my grandmother says, nothing happens before time. Right? And so mentoring is not something that I was unfamiliar. It's not unfamiliar ground for me. But it was a nice opportunity to take the Sisters Build Network umbrella and help to oversee what can we do to build our young leaders, right, for their future that they're destined for. And sometimes you just need that additional person to help you grow. And so Sisters Build Network for Girls Incorporated, it is a nonprofit we've been running for almost a year now, where we meet every month. We actually have between 17 to 30 students that come every month. We do activities such as visiting nursing homes and volunteering. We have an upcoming retreat for the young girls coming up. Gosh, we just do so many. We're going to be connecting. It's like extra surprises, right? So you heard it here first. But yeah, so we're going to be connecting with like the YMCA and focus on healthy living the year to come. Where actually all the students will be writing chapters of a book, right? So we're doing fabulous things that really help push the girls. We're doing bonfires. We're just really connecting. We're helping them build and establish now, so that when they get our age, right, they're not in state of confusion, right? They would have had a little training and experience. We actually have, and I would love for you to come, we have a dinner coming up at a local barn venue,
Oh,
right,
nice.
where we'll be teaching etiquette. So there's some different things on the horizon for the Sisters Bill Network for Girls, and a lot of the things that we do with the girls, we also mimic with the women as well. So there will be a women's retreat coming up in the year to come. So just a lot of great things. And in addition to that, because you couldn't leave that, right? So I can't ever leave the guys out.
Exactly. But we're boy moms here,
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to separate the two. So recently we've collaborated and partnered with the Man Up Mentoring Program, right, with Sean King. So all that we do, the women branch off and the guys branch off, but then we come back together, right? So even on the first Saturday of every month, we have Saturday seminars where the kids come together and they hear from a speaker teaching them life skills, right? Effective communication, how to listen properly, carefully, all those things that are no-brainers, we think.
Right.
Not really, but
No,
but yeah,
it's
right?
very true.
So we're working on all of those avenues for our guys and our girls, and we thought we would do it together, so much better together than it is apart.
Right.
So yeah.
So, if I have a child that I want to start participating with this program, where do you meet? How do I get involved? Where do it all begin?
All right, so for the Man Up Mentoring Program, they actually take grades 3 through 12,
Okay.
right? For Sisters Bill, we're actually 6 through 12, right? So all the girls are grades 6 through 12. We meet at the Chisholm Center right there in DeLand, and the main community center, the Who's Who and the What's What, all attend, and it's the first Saturday of every month. 10 a.m. is Saturday seminar. As I mentioned earlier, we come together. And 11 o'clock, we break off. Guys go with Sisters Build. This week and upcoming weeks, we kind of focus on like STEM and who you are and believing in yourself, things of that nature. Just learning life skills. The guys are learning how to be gentlemen.
Right.
Right? These are key things that, I don't know, I know some grown people. So we're working on all of that every first Saturday of the month. And then throughout the month, we actually have meetup activities like bowling nights.
Okay.
We're going to visit a TV station, things of that nature.
So get your kids involved.
Yes,
It'll be a great
please.
opportunity for them to develop and grow. And then, again, we're going on this journey with you. And so as we're moving on, I just wanted to know a little bit more about, too, since we're talking about the boys and developing them. Now you're also embarking in a new program where you've had a lot of men conferences. I would like you to discuss a little bit more about where did that motivation come from and where do you foresee that in the new year, where it's going?
I think so. It's called the Calling a Few Good Men Conference, right? So we go from location to location. We've been to Jamaica. We partnered with Chief Capri, the police department in Daytona Beach. We partnered right here in DeLand. We've partnered in Deltona. So we've been I partnered with Commissioner Smith in Apopka, right? So we've been in location to location. And the main purpose of this is, one, to hold men, I'm sorry, but responsible and accountable for the lives of our children.
Right.
Just is what it is, right? And so without them, there is no us. And so we are able to stand stronger once again because we come together.
Right.
And so at the end of every conference, my plea is, who's going to stand up? Who's going to come forward and become a mentor for our children? And so that is the entire purpose. In addition to that, we have key speakers that have come and they share their stories, right? Sometimes we look at folks and we think, oh, they have it together. They don't have any issues. Why aren't they helping? They should know better. Things of that nature, instead of just asking and listening to their story, because everyone has one.
Right.
Right? And so the men come, they share their stories with other men. You should see these lifelong partnerships, right? It's the coolest thing. Guys giving fist bumps, right? But they come together for the purpose of our children. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, great. So that sounds so. Calling a few good men to step up and come along to the next conference. Is there one coming up in the future?
Yeah, so April 20th is already set right there in Daytona Beach at the police department.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, and then we will again have the conference in Apopka as well.
Oh, okay, perfect. So that'll be a great opportunity for all you men and women to come and attend to learn some great things. So, as we have been following you along,
Thank you.
you have not stopped there. She has not stopped, ladies. I'm just telling you, this is a phenomenal young woman.
Oh, thank you.
But then you decided now, which has been a long lifetime because I've known you for years, of wanting to pursue this dream,
Yes.
which was being an author.
Yes.
So I want you to now reveal to us about this lovely book.
Yes.
It's for children,
Yes.
for young girls.
Yes.
And what is the name and what is it about? And please share.
So this is really, really so exciting. So I want to give like the little backstory if I can. So when I was in undergrad, right, I remember telling my professor, she said, well, what are you doing? It was like 2 weeks before graduation. She said, what are you doing after you graduate? I said, I'm going to write lots of books and make lots of money. She said, uh-oh. We have a problem here, right? And so the issue was a couple things. I hadn't written a book.
Right.
And I didn't have no lots of money. And I had my son, right? Because we talked about just me raising him and going through that process. So she told me, let's just do a reality check. You can always come back to it, right? So I'm glad she didn't
Dismiss your ideas.
yeah, or my dream, right? She said you can't come back to it. And again, Grandma said nothing happens before time. And so now is the time, right? So the book is actually called Princess Primrose Goes to Washington, D.C. I'm super excited because it really represents the family unit.
Right.
It's not an autobiography, although my parents have been together well over 45 years, right? We didn't go to D.C. as a child because my father was trying to remember that time. But we traveled like almost the entire world, because he was military and things of that nature. But it is about the family unit, and it's about the opportunity to love on our children.
Right.
Because right, if we love on our children, we give them the opportunity to blossom in ways unimaginable any other way. Right? And so Princess Primrose, she may be a little extra, but in such a beautiful way.
Right.
You can kind of tell with her picture. So shout out to Alberta Sky Publishing. Shout out to Scott, my illustrator, of doing Princess Primrose justice. Because she definitely signifies what I believe little girls and women are. You are a princess. You are a queen. You are anyone that you choose to be, and no one should ever take that away from you, right? And so in this particular book, she does learn patience, because I kind of struggle with it, kind of grown. That's the princess in me. But
we all have that struggle.
We have that struggle, right?
Yes.
So I have to work on it. So I know it's not an easy task for children.
Right.
And so just being there to support them and love on them is really what Princess Primrose is all about. And so I'm excited about the opportunity to share it. We've had grand time in the last, I guess it's only been like 2 months since it's been published, right? My first book signing was at the YMCA in DeLand. I have a few more scheduled. Definitely will come to a city near you. You know that. But I'm just excited what she will bring in our homes, right? As far as connecting with that family unit. And also signifying the fact, in this book, yes, her parents are married and they're together and things of that nature, but that's not my focus. My focus is when you have the family bond, and you can be bonded without of all the other areas, right? But we gotta love on our children as much as possible. We have to, right? The English teacher in me.
So if we want to book you for a book reading, how do we go about doing that? Yeah,
so please check me out on Facebook, Primrose Cameron, right? There's not that many Primrose Camerons out there, or primrosecameron.com. Definitely check out my website when you have the opportunity. Facebook as well. Instagram is the same. Twitter is the same. So all of my social media handles. And then my number, 386-235-5032.
So we're finally near the end of our journey.
Yes.
And I just want to commend you on all that you have done. And I want to also leave words of encouragement with our new Hue family about just how it is to just continue to keep striving in the new year, as they too may be trying to be where you are, or trying to develop in their dream and not sure how to go about doing it. Could you just give a little bit of last words of knowledge and encouragement to keep them moving forward, so they too can be in that place of happiness and see where their full potential can be?
So, the only child in me says, Primrose, just do everything, you're on your own. But being a realist, I realize it, and one of the reasons for Sisters Build Network is that it can't be done on your own. So find that group, find that niche, find that support system that will really help build you. That's one. And two, always remember that all things are doable and possible. We were built in a form in such a way that if we set out to do something, we can get it done. Now, if we set out to sit on the couch all day, we're going to get that done. But all things are doable and possible and can be accomplished. So although I didn't accomplish it 22 years ago, there are things that I accomplished now because I made a choice. Right? And all people have the opportunity to choice. So I would just encourage you to just really push forward and do all things that you were set out to do.
Thank you so much, Dr. Primrose Cameron. And here we have it. Thank you to Hue for watching. Pick up the book. Be a good man. Go to the men's conference.
Yes.
Come on, sisters. Let's build together. Grow together. Thank you, ladies and gents out there.
PrimroseCameron.com. You heard it here first. Thank you.